New year, new liveries, new drivers, old habits. Good evening and welcome to Tier 1 of the L2S Formula 1 community. I'm Seb Bauer, glad you're with us for round 19 of 22, when the championship heat is starting to boil up. Yes, we are 4 races away to crown the new L2S champion. The last 4 events, the last 4 Thursdays to decide who it will be and to decide all the ongoing midfield battles too, of course. And as the L2S community is following the real Formula 1 calendar, at least the one that should have been real for 2020. We are here in Austin, Texas for round 19. The circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas is one of the newer grids, the newer tracks in Formula 1. It's part of the F1 since 2012. It's a track that is around about 5.5 kilometers of length and features 20 turns. The lap record is set by Charles Leclerc with a 1:36.1 from 2019. And the game rules the track as easy. Well, I wouldn't quite call it that way, because it's a track with multiple characteristics per each sector. So the sector 1 is a very difficult sector actually, so a lot of very fast turns, some S's like we know from Suzuka or maybe Silverstone. And sector 2 has one incredible long straight, to that time when the track was new, longest in the whole race calendar, behind China, of course, behind the long straight in Shanghai. And sector 3, some medium and maybe a bit slow paced technical turns, so everything is mixed into it, like we know the modern racetracks always more or less feature the same. And yeah, we already had our tier 2 event, so it's always tier 2 at around about 7 PM of UK time, and now at 9 PM we see the tier 1. Tier 2 qualifying was dominated by Royal Harvey in pole position, who afterwards then claimed the race victory likewise. Qualified in P2 was Simv, and third CDM, and the race podium was Royal Harvey, then Jimmy O racing up from 9th to 2nd, and Mitch in 3rd. Further on Tuesday we feature a Formula 2 season likewise, so the L2S community is very much into racing. And yeah, as mentioned, today we only have 4 races left to decide our ongoing battles, and the most important battle, of course, is the championship run. We will have a very close eye on that. Before that, let's have a quick look about the lobby and the rules. So we have a 18 minutes qualifying, followed by a 50% race. That's, I think, 29 laps. Then safety car VSC is on, of course. The vehicle damage is full. Strict corner cutting, that will be a topic, especially in the S's and track limits, of course, because you can go wide in Austin. and if you do that too often, you will pick up a few seconds of penalties. Manual race start, of course, rules and flags completely on, and traction control is set to maximally medium, and the pit release assist is off. Pit assist, that means coming into the pits, is on, so you do not have to worry about the velocity when coming into the pit lane. And we should see, as far as I know, a full grid. We have 20 drivers now in the lobby. Let's have a quick look about the names that are here with us. Chris Tam, right behind me. That's a name to watch, because he just gives his debut for Tier 1 tonight. He was in Tier 2 the last weeks and he showed some really good performances there. And I think the last, how many, 3 or 4 qualifyings, all the pole positions belonged to him in the last races. And he had some decent race results likewise, so this is a guy we have to watch. Here we see the pictures of the Cobra. So the racetrack in Austin is a lap around the Cobra from almost everywhere of the track, every angle. You can see the snake in the middle, and other way around likewise too. So if you're standing on top of the snake, you can see almost every part of the racetrack. So this is actually the place to be for every American Formula 1 fan. So here we are in the pit lane, and it's rainy. It seems a little bit rainy, so could be, or will probably be, an intermediates weather, intermediates qualifying. So it's hard to say who's the first to go out here, because as our regular fans already know, the L2S community does not go with the usual teams. We have unique car liveries. The first one maybe is our scientist, at least. Yes, he is the first one to go out, so let's stay with him here on his outlap and have an eye on the track condition. So it is rainy, but not a full wet weather. No Texas monsoon. I have actually not seen too many wet conditions in Austin. I'm not sure if we ever had a real life rainy race there in Texas. But well, can happen, can happen. Let's see who is able to adapt the best to this weather. So our scientist is here in the last sector, will start his hot lap after this left-hander. As mentioned, let's stay with him a moment for this track. You can see the start-finish straight is not that long. From starting grid, it's uphill here to turn 1. There is a lot of space, so the first turn allows multiple lanes. And right afterwards, we are here in the S's. Some mixture of Suzuka and Silverstone. Very unrhythmic, especially towards the end. Here another hilltop. You are rather blindside here in this left-hander. This is the end of Sector 1 and beginning of Sector 2. And into the long straight, very wide turn here again. The long DRS zone in case we have a dry race. This will be a huge factor to be equipped with DRS on this long straight. And then here at the beginning of Sector 3, the slowest phase, slowest turns of the track. Very vicious left-hander here. It's very easy to lose the car on acceleration. Scientist was very cautiously accelerating here. He is cautious here too. So seems like something like a safety lap to me, just to get at least a time set. And his time will be a 1:46.4. How good that is, we will find out in the next few moments. Sam Iham is behind him, over a second even. Of course, everyone is running on intermediates here. Ah, and Official has beaten the time of Scientist. Nick Agnola has just posted a time, the winner of Singapore. And here's Official in his toxic green livery, green black. Somehow fits the Cobra here, the Cobra track. A few times are posted now. Landobot, Slayer, John Banter, Dean Cunha, our hosts, Moshetit, another competitive time, 6.8 seconds behind Official. Ballox now in 6th, Chappie 10th. Yeah, one big thing we need to have an eye on is our championship race. We see a duel or maybe threesome battle for the championship. Official is our leader, not only in the qualifying table here, but in the overall standings likewise. He was the leader. Golden Pickle has just posted the fastest lap. Yeah, Official leading our overall standings by 10 points ahead of Slayer. Slayer, who is active tonight and did not post the best lap time. He's here in 7th, so he does have to improve if he wants to be in the starting grid somewhere near his main rival. And the maybe third man in, maybe, is Scientist, who's in 5th here right now. The Scientist has a gap to Official by 42 points, and it's 4 races left. So that means for the Scientist, this race and everyone that is left, every event in this season, for him is something like a do or die race. So you could say playoff mentality for him. He needs to finish in front of his rivals to stay alive, to keep his championship run alive. In case official and / or Slayer will finish in front of him here tonight, yeah, he will probably be out of the championship run. Then we see in 4th place Infamous with 138 points. He is 80 something points behind official, so he is out of the championship race. And he's standing something in like a no man's land, around 40 points ahead. The gap to Scientist around, no, it's 37 points. The gap behind on Angry Orange. So Infamous is in a no man's land there, rather cemented in his 4th position. Infamous, who is just running on an hot lap here in his Brawn GP library. Let's have a look really quick, as we were already talking about him, where the clock will stop for him. It's a 1:47.6, not a good time. Not a good time, but maybe just a safety lap, just to have one lap time posted. Yeah, Infamous cemented in P4 in the overall standings. Then we see a few midfields battled. We have to have an eye on here tonight, so let's have a look about battle for P5. That's Angry Orange versus Nick Agnola. Angry Orange has not posted a time yet, and Nick Agnola, the winner of Singapore, is in P8 right now. So those two guys will be... We will have to watch those two guys for the battle of 5th position, and then another battle for P7. That's Dean Cunha, Ian MC and Aces Vikings that are more or less close together. Dean Cunha right now on P13. Aces Vikings did not post a time yet, and Ian, where is Ian? In P7 right now. So all those guys, those are the battles to watch. There are a lot of more battles going on in the overall standings for P10, P13 and all that stuff. You can have a look about our overall standings on our Twitter page. The link is right under the video here, right under the live stream. Twitter.com/L2S Racing. There you will find all of our information about our leagues, our Tier 1, Tier 2, and about our Formula 2 events too, of course. And it's drying up, so we see a few red colors, a few guys that have chosen to go on softs for their next hot lap try, or are even maybe already on a out lap on softs. One of them is Mark Ainley. He gambled a bit. He did not post a time on Inters. He just waited until he can run on softs. But this might be his only hot lap. Let's have a look how time goes by. Already down to 6.5 minutes. Time flies something in sometimes in qualifying. So maybe this will be the only chance Mark Ainley has to post a time. All those guys who stay in the pits on softs right now, like Angry Orange, Moshatit, Infamous, Chappie, all of those guys will definitely only have one shot on softs. So let's stay with Mark Ainley for a moment. There's no comparison as he didn't have a formally posted time yet. but as there is no one who has posted a time on softs, he is very likely to be the pole setter, at least for a moment, as soon as his lap is finished. Yeah, and I mentioned Chris Tam, who we have to have an eye on. The one who got promoted from Tier 2, he is in P5. That's not too bad. Not a bad position to be in. And he will improve himself, of course, on the softs. We see Slayer, who is great. And Magainley aborted his hot lap. So it wasn't good enough for his taste. He opted to go into the pits, change the tires and have another shot. Therefore it's still enough time left. One interesting thing, we see Semi Ham. He's still in his garage, but the game tells us he has yellow tires mounted. While Frenzy did still not post the time and is still on Inters, likewise to Aces Vikings in the pits. And one big issue, we see Slayer, who is grey. Slayer is inactive at the moment. Hope he will be able to get on the track again, because with his intermediate time he will be very down the grid, very far in the cellar, and we definitely do not want to see our championship being spoiled due to one of the guys not being able to post a time in the qualifying. So, on a hot lap right now, that is maybe Landobot. There he is. The first really competitive time on softs was posted by John Bunter, 1:37.3. That's a second behind the real life lap record, and Angry Orange has just vaporized Bunter's time, 1.3 seconds faster than John. And Champy, the next pole setter, 1:35.9, but that will not be the end. What is Landobot doing? Bit of a problem, bit of a bad angle in the last turn, but still enough for the pole, 1:35.3. So we see a lot of guys now on an outlap. Scientist is on a hot lap here. Has improved himself by 3.2 seconds, but that's of course only to the time on Inters. What will Sector 2 bring for him? He will improve himself by multiple seconds here, 7.5. 7.5, and he needs to do that, of course. New fastest lap posted. Angry Orange gets us under the 1:35 mark. Dean Cunha, new pole setter. Times are really flying here now. And Scientist will finish on P1. Pole position, 33.5 for Scientist. And what will Official do? Landobot for the moment has countered the Scientist, beating him by only 81,000 here. We see Sam Iham with a good lap time on mediums. That will be a topic and an issue for the race start and race strategy then. What will Official do? He has dropped down to P10 now as the time is officially over. And what will he do? Improving himself by multiple seconds, of course. Golden Pickle, what a pole time! A 1:31.8. No one is just near him. Ian MC has posted a time that is 9/10 slower than him. That's the best man around. Aces Vikings now in P2, but far away off the Pickle too. And Official is maybe the only one who is still on a hot lap, maybe the only one who is able to get close to the Pickle. With one eye, I'm watching Chris Tam. No, Nick Agnola did so. Nick Agnola. And Chris Tam, I mentioned it. Chris Tam is a good qualifier. 1:31.4. Things are really getting heated up here. And the last turn for Official. But he has invalidated his time. Official's time was deleted and he will start in P14. Oh, what an evil qualifying for our championship contenders. Official's time deleted, giving him P14. Slayer unable to post the time in dry conditions, giving him P16. Infamous only in 17th. That's a big disappointment, I would like to say too. And so Chris Tam just continues in Tier 1 what he did the last weeks in Tier 2. Congratulations to the next pole position for Chris Tam. If he can't do it in Tier 2 anymore, he will just do it in Tier 1. And this is the official starting grid. Chris Tam in front of Nick Agnola, then Golden Pickle, Scientist, Aces Vikings in 5th, Chappie 6, Ian MC in 7th, 8 goes to Landabot, 9 Bellox, 10 Dean Cunha, 11 Angry Orange, 12 Sam Iham, P13 for John Bunter, Official in 14, Castro France in 15, Slayer 16, Infamous 17, 18 Moshetit, 19 Frenzy, and last position goes to Mark Ainley. I've seen one guy who received a starting grid penalty, a +5. So that means our two championship contenders will be ranked up by 1 position. But still, this is a very bad spot to be in for our main rivals. And this is maybe the perfect setup for our Scientist to revive his championship chances. So we are here in the last moments before the race. We will not see an installation lap, so the last moments to grab a drink, and I will be back in just a bit. So here we are in the starting grid, no installation lap, right into the Austin Grand Prix. Here we go. Chris Tam did not start too well. Nick Agnola overtook him already before the first turn. Here's the counter attack from Chris Tam. Agnola and Tam wheel to wheel in the first turn. In the background everything was rather clean. They did not see a big issue anywhere or any debris flying off. There is the first debris. There is at least one front wing who misses an end plate or something. And in front is Nick Agnola. He had a good start, jumped ahead of Chris Tam. Let's get some informations in that we will need for the race. The position change is for the starting phase, so in the front rows only the swap from Tam and Nick Agnola, and then Ian overtook Chappie. We see a +5 on the start official, so he's angry. Our top championship contender likewise a +5 for Slayer. They pushed ahead big time in the early get-go, and both are in the points right in lap 1. Angry Orange +4, that's pretty good as well. Infamous has jumped ahead now by 4. Mark Ainley +5. And we see a little bit of yellow already vanished. Let's have a quick look about the tires. 10 drivers have to start on the set they have qualified on, so the front rows mostly are on soft. Official opted to start on mediums, likewise to Slayer, so after having a bad quali, this could be some advantage for them. We have just seen Jimmy O in our tier 2 race who did something similar, and the first penalty goes out to Slayer, +3 seconds, who cut at some corners or maybe exceeded track limit somewhere. I mentioned it, that is very easily done here on this track. And here we see the tire strategy presented by the Amazon Web Services. So AWS suggests the 2-stop race. Everyone who has started the race on softs will probably have to do right that. Everyone who has started on mediums will probably try to go through on 1 stop. Just mount the hards sometime around P12, lap 12 or 13 or something like that. And we are in lap 3, that means the RS is enabled, and Chris Tam, likewise to Golden Pickle, our top 3 are within the DRS window of each other. That means those 2 guys, Pickle and Tam, will both be able to open up the rear wing. Nick Agnola, the leader, will not be able to do so. So let's see if they can zoom in onto Nick Agnola. Pickle looks very close here to Tam already at the entrance of the long straight. Tam has the eyes too, but still Pickle easily pushes next to him and attacks him on the inside here. A little bit of a lock tire, but no problem. And they have swapped positions. Nick Agnola will hope that they will fight a lot behind him, because if those 2 guys fight each other, they might not be able to attack. Now we see a little bit of yellow in sector 3. We've seen the first pit stops by Dean Cunha and Bellox, so the off-falling winglets probably came from those 2 front wings. Golden Pickle, no fastest lap. And Pickle seems to be faster than Tom. Seems like he can crawl away just barely a little bit here. He seems to be able to attack Nick Agnola just on the next long straight. Nick already in desperation mode maybe here. Let's stay on his TV pot. Let's see what he will do. He will not attack him here, of course. He will wait for the long straight. And here we are. DRS is here. Zack, and rear wing is opened. And he rather easily cruises by. Yes, he did. At the end of the long straight, Chris Tam came close to Nick Agnola too, but only close, not able to attack him. Very close here. Do not ruin your front wing very early in the race. And let's have a look what's going on a bit further behind. Slayer in P7. No, I'm sorry, Official in P7. And Slayer already right behind him. So our two main contenders are very close to each other. That's what we want to see. The battle between Official and Slayer. Just the fact that this right now is a battle for P7. While the Scientist in P4 would make up a few points. But there's still a lot of racing left to go here. Official is in the DRS window of Aces Vikings. Slayer is not in striking distance to Official. Vikings should be... No, he's not. Aces Vikings is not DRS equipped, so Official will attack him here on the outside and leaving him space. Yes, he does. Still pushes ahead. So the Viking now in the sandwich between our two main contenders. Scientist, by the way, is 3.5 seconds away of the podium trio ahead. Golden Pickle has managed to shake Nick Agnola a bit off, so Agnola is out of the DRS window. Chris Tam is still inside the window, but rather far away with 8/10. Where else is some action going on? Let's maybe have a look at the Angry Orange, who is in striking distance to Slayer. We see some yellow in sector 3. I think it was Semi-Ham. Yep, he's ruled in last position now, so Semi-Ham probably spun somewhere there. Angry Orange is in the DRS window, but too far away to attack Slayer. And Slayer, meanwhile, does not come closer to Vikings, so no DRS for him. Vikings still running on softs, so the faster tire probably is able to back up his speed, and therefore Slayer, who's running on mediums, unable to close up. Bit of yellow in sector 3 again, right here in these turns. That was caused by Ian. Oh no, Ian in trouble. Ian ghosted and back to the track here. And he will go to the pits. Oh ho ho, do not crash into the wall there. Ian and Chappie in the pits, so maybe there was some collision between those two guys. Let's see if Ian, yes, Ian needs a new nose. New nose, and decided to run on hards. Let's see how long he can go on them. Let's see if Ian wants to go through on this set of tire. That's very long, 21 laps to go. Ian and Infamous, our broadcasters of Tier 2. I was just watching you, and I know already that you do not like the hards so much here. So Ian will now has to prove that he can adapt to the hards. He and Dean Cunha are the only guys running on hards right now. Let's have a look where some action is going on. Maybe Frenzy against John Bunter. This is battle for P13. Oh, and while that has happened, scientist in the pits. I wanted to say that Official and Slayer has been overtaking Scientist, but yeah. Just because of pit stop action, Scientist on mediums, so he will have to stop again in the end. Yeah, I was right here. Frenzy versus John Bunter. Let's maybe stay with them for the long straight. Frenzy seems like he can go faster through the S's like Bunter. Could be an indication that Bunter has a bit less downforce, therefore he should be able to defend himself pretty well on the long straight. Let's see about that. No DRS for Bunter, of course. Rear wing from Frenzy is split and he cruises by so easily. No chance to defend for Bunter. Here is a threesome battle group. This is Castor France, Moshetit, Infamous. Moshetit and Castor France running on soft, so they will have to pit before Infamous. Speaking about a pit stop, Aces Vikings just did that. And opted for hards. He might try to go through from here on. Yellow in sector 3, and there was a crash. What? Who's this? Infamous! Infamous was attacking, I think it was Moshetit, and paid for it. The Brawn GP will need a new nose, probably. Aces Vikings, who just came out of the pits, overtook him here. Yep, new nose needed for Infamous. Viking did hopefully not pick up damage. Nope, he did not. Let's have a look who else was involved. Moshetit looks okay. Castor France front wing is intact still too. So only Infamous paid for attacking on the wrong position. From our top 3, Golden Pickle was the first one who stopped for mediums, so this will be a 2-stop strategy for him, and he's close to Mark Ainley. And while that is happening, Chris Tam and Nick Agnola both are in the pits and both go for hard, so they will try to go through. While Pickle attacks Mark Ainley, this should work easily. It does. Mark Ainley, who's coming from the back row of the grid, knows that this is not his race, so he knows he's probably not in the position to fight for a podium. He does not destroy his strategy, and Infamous is out. Infamous is out of the race. I think he retired in the pit stop there, in the pit lane, and we are right here when Sam I Am throws it away almost. Another bronze GP livery, and we were right with him when he lost his car and was right in this turn 15 or 16, I think it is, what I mentioned in qualifying. The car is very easy to throw away there. Car is very light on the rear, and if you hit the acceleration too much, you will lose your car due to the fact we have a maximally medium traction control in the L2S community. And while that has happened, Official is in the lead, of course, backed up by the fact that he started on mediums, still wears his old mediums from the start, and the top trio, Golden Pickle, Agnola and Chris Tam, already pitted. So Golden Pickle virtually in the lead right now on his fresh mediums, but he will have to stop again. Nick Agnola and Chris Tam will rather try to go through on their hards. So in case there is no safety car chaos or something like that, the race win, the best chances are with Agnola and Tam right now, I would say. Yellow on the start finish straight. Dean Cunha has DNF. Dean is out. Second guy to retire in the pit lane. Always a better thing to do that if you decide to give up than to cause maybe a safety car. Yeah, when will Official pit? When will he come in? He, likewise to Angry Orange and Mark Ainley, still on 11 laps old mediums. Scientist has dropped back to P7. And Slayer pitted for fresh softs. That is interesting. That is interesting. Slayer, who started on mediums, I expected him to try and go through on a one-stop strategy, medium to hards, but no. Slayer on softs. Let's see how or if that will pay off. Right now he can go faster a lot, of course. John Bunter on his old mediums. He will even overtake him before the long straight and still will have DRS right here, as the detection was already earlier. There it is. And he will close up to Frenzy in the next few laps, in case Frenzy doesn't pit before that. And Official is still running on his medium, so he is doing what I expected. Likewise to Angry Orange, likewise to Mark Ainley, I suppose, and Frenzy, for example. Just go through on a one-stop strategy. By the way, we only have two guys left who have not picked up penalties. That's official, and aces Vikings, just as expected and just as we saw it in the race before. In Tier 2, the circuit of the Americas is very easy to pick up a penalty here, either for corner cutting or for exceeding track limits. And now let's see when official will get himself some fresh tires. If he doesn't again, we are already in lap 14, and lap 14 means we are at the halfway mark of the race. So if he doesn't come in now, he has almost spent half his race on this set of mediums. And official didn't stop again, so he is running his 14th lap on this mediums. While that has happened, Angry Orange now has pitted for hard, so he did it the other way around than official, and official now has a penalty too. That leaves only aces Vikings left without the penalty. So right now here at midway mark, as the race takes a breather, let's have a short look about the pit stop situation and the penalties. First the penalties, as we are already there. Official has to stop now. No, he doesn't. Still no stop for official. The penalties. A lot of +3s. Mark Ainley has a double +3. Slayer has a triple +3. And Chappie with 20 seconds. I have no idea what he committed to pick up 20 seconds of penalty here already. Bellox 9, Semi-Ham 9. And it's almost level to each other. Oh, Slayer again, 12 seconds penalties now against Slayer. That will really be a big issue in the end. If the grid is close to each other, he will drop down a lot of positions. I remember a very special and iconic race in Monza, where we had a safety car, just something like 5 laps left to go or something, and due to multiple penalties we had a totally shuffled final result of the race. Something like that could happen too, but at the moment Slayer is gaining positions. What else is going on? A lot of guys who stopped once. Still 1, 2, 3, 4 guys who did not stop yet. Does official stop now? He still doesn't, and only because he wants to squeeze his mediums now as long as possible and then stop to softs in the end. He will probably try to go 2 more laps, I would like to assume, and then stop for softs. So he will be on the faster tire in the late stage of the race. Not too much action going on elsewhere. Maybe here. Maybe here. What happened? The Aces Vikings against the Angry Orange, who's rather looking like a zebra. Wheel to wheel in the SS, and the Vikings got his position back. This is the fight between the two Hearts runners. In 9 and 10 we have two other Hearts runners close to each other. That's Nick Agnola and Chris Tam. Both of them, Agnola and Tam, are waiting for Pickle and Official to stop again so that they can have their fight for the lead back again, like we saw in the first stint. And here's another attack on the long straight, and Angry Orange back in P9. So both on the same strategy. Vikings with a bit older tires, but that's not a big issue yet in this situation. And now finally Official has pitted. And he will go on softs. Yes, there is the red tire icon next to his name. Let's see how many positions he will lose. He's behind Slayer, but Slayer has to stop again. Behind Scientist, who has to stop again likewise. And there he is running again on P6. So he came out of the pits right in front of the duo we were just watching, Orange and Viking. And yeah, Official can go through. This Slayer in front of him. And there is the DNF of Ian. Ian has given up, I think, did that in the pit lane as well. Very fair from him. Yeah, so for our top runners, all those guys in the podium discussion can go through. Behind him, Angry Orange can go through, but though they are far away from him. In front of him, Tam and Agnola will go through, while Pickle, Slayer, Scientist still have to stop again. Virtually that could give Official a podium on P3 behind Agnola and Tam. And then the big question mark will be where Scientist and Slayer will finish, and Official on his fresh softs is able to go a lot faster here than the Scientist. Here in the Estes, it seems like he can run circles around him. Yellow in sector 3, Bellox may be in troubles there. Official will wait for the DRS zone that is right here on this straight. DRS opened up here and will just cruise by him. Goodbye, championship rival. And Scientist, I mentioned it, Scientist was in need to finish in front of Slayer and Official if he wants to keep his championship run possibilities alive, and he is behind both of them right now, so it looks like a kiss goodbye to the championship here for him, but it's not over yet. Still 9 laps remaining in this race. We have still not seen a safety car. That's very unique. And Vikings has picked up 3 seconds penalty, so everyone who is still in the race does have a penalty on his account. Yeah, I wanted to say still no safety car yet, so this is a bit unique for online racing, but speaks for the quality of the L2S racing community. And this is the battle for P9 and 10, so for 1 or 2 points granted on the account. Casto France is chasing Landobot and Mark Ainley, but the order suggests that Ainley with the fresh softs will rather run away from those two guys, even though Landobot and Casto France will probably both be able to open up the rear wing. Yes. But no chance for an attack for any of these guys. And in the next turns, Mark Ainley will probably sneak away of them. And in the front, the fight for the win will be Tom against Agnola. Those two guys were very close to each other the whole race long. They haunted each other around the Cobra multiple laps already. Have always been within 1.2, 1.5 seconds or something like that. And as soon as Golden Pickle will pit again, they will be in the prime positions, and Tom is almost about to sneak into the DRS window again. What's going on behind them? Threesome battle here. Official Slayer and Orange. No, official Slayer, official and Chris Tom. I know the third man was a lapper probably. Yeah, so Chris Tom just barely outside the 1 second window. Now it's up to 1.2. Haven't seen that a few turns long. And Nick Agnola will do everything he can to not let him into the 1 second window. Another thing that speaks for the quality of L2S racing, that those two guys can match their pace so well. Meanwhile, Slayer now in for his final pit stop, and he will drop a bunch of positions behind Official and maybe even behind the Scientist. Now he's instead in front of Scientist, but he will lose a lot of points on Official, and all of that just because he did not stop for hards, just because he wanted to try a 2-stop strategy. And he will be able to, probably be able to attack Mark Ainley. Let's have a look what's going on there. Ooh, they are very close. Maybe even a little bit of a push from Slayer. Here's the attack now in the DRS window, and that will go easily. DRS zone and attack from Slayer, and in P7 now, still he will lose a lot of points on Official, granting Official to even increase his gap. And while that has happened, Chris Tom finally has managed to get into the DRS window, but Official says, wait a minute, Official has passed him. I was so focused on the battle from Tom against Agnola, but no, there's one coming from behind on the fresher, the faster softs, and Official is already in the gearbox of Nick Agnola, and as soon as Golden Pickle will pit, Official will be the lead just a few laps before the checkered flag And so official will not only increase his gap, he will win the race and jump ahead big time against his rival, and just cruises by Nick Agnola here in the DRS zone. And official is virtually the race leader as soon as the pickle pits, and I doubt that he can go through. Still 5 laps plus the rest of this to go for the golden pickle. That would mean that his mediums are 18 laps old then. Can he do that? Can he do that? Officials' mediums were 16 laps old when he pitted. Anyway, 5.5 seconds left of the gap from Pickle, so Pickle will lose the position to official anyway. The question is just, would he lose another spot, another position, if he does not stop? So that will be the big thought that's running in his head, in the Pickle's head. How much would I lose if I do not stop? Meanwhile, we see a bit of up and down in the background. There is Slayer who dropped the position to Angry Orange. How could that happen if he's running on the faster tire? Maybe Slayer committed a mistake there? He's very close to the orange now, will be able to attack him on the long straight, maybe even already before that. Yes, already now. The orange has cut back inside, but the DRS will be granted to Slayer, and now he pushes ahead. Yeah, he's 17 seconds behind Chris Tam, so the one ahead is Chappie. He will be lapped here. So this is the maximum to achieve for Slayer if there is no DNF in front of him. Yellow in sector 2. Maybe Lando Bot. Yeah, Lando dropped a few seconds, so Lando Bot has spun there. So Nick Agnola and Chris Tam did not stand a chance to follow official on his softs. And now they are back in their fight. What was a virtual fight for the race win is now only a fight for the podium. A fight downgraded. The fight for P1 downgraded to a fight for P3. And Tam is 2/10 out of the DRS window again, so this will be something we have to watch for the last few laps remaining. Lando Bot now is out, retired in the pit lane for the moment. Let's get the penalty situation in. Official has 3 more seconds of penalty than Pickle, so he needs to not only overtake him, he needs to overtake him and get a gap of 3 or more seconds on him, so this is rather unlikely, I would say, as long as the Pickle doesn't commit another penalty mistake. Then we see a lot of guys being level on 6 seconds, official Agnola Tam. So the battle for the podium between Agnola and Tam will probably not be decided by penalties. Right now they are level. Slayer then with plus 15. So as things stand right now, he would even drop down a position to Scientist. Yeah, for the last laps I will leave the penalty situation open, so you can have a look at your preferred driver and see how or what results the penalties will have on his final position. The last 3.5 laps are on, and this is the fight for the final point. Frenzy against Viking again. And this worked for the moment, but Viking in the a lot better penalty seconds position. So he will just need he just needs to stay right there where he is, and he will be ranked up even into P8, as Mark Ainley has a +9 there likewise. We'll have to have an eye on as soon as last lap. Everyone is running over the checkered flag. And Agnola pulled away a bit. Agnola now 1.5 seconds away from Tam, and Chris Tam committed another penalty. Chris Tam now with +9, Agnola +6. So that more or less cements the P3 for Nick Agnola, at least how things stand right now. Official has come closer to Pickle, but not in striking distance yet. There he is, 2.3 seconds behind the Golden Pickle. And just want to mention it again, 3 more seconds of penalty. While that has happened, Angry Orange is fighting against Mark Ainley for P7. Those two guys are level about penalties. Ainley in theory on the faster tire, but maybe the softs are a bit degraded for him already. Ooh, late lunge, Angry Orange, do not ruin your front wing here in the late stage of the race. We have seen rather few damages here tonight, so just a very few pit stops that were caused by damaged front wings. Just yesterday I broadcasted a race from Monaco that was just the total difference. I've seen one guy stopping 10 times due to front wing damages, and Orange in the slipstream of Mark Ainley, but not able to attack him yet. One more lap is left for those two guys. Ainley having a few locked tires here now. Ainley is pushing this car to the limit for the last few turns. We are officially in the last lap of the race, and Official is within the DRS sector of Golden Pickle. Has crawled up to the Pickle and maybe even will be able to attack him in the end, but still the penalty issue laying on him. The last lap, last time he can open the DRS on the long straight here. What does he do? Does he try the late lunge, or will he stay in P2? He tries it, and he got ahead, but Pickle just 5 or 6 turns left. He may just not cause another penalty, and he will still be the race winner. Official pulling away here now, but I doubt that he can pull away far enough. Mark Ainley meanwhile defending himself against Angry Orange in the background. Official even committed another penalty. He won the race, but he does not. It is Golden Pickle who won the race. Nick Agnola then in P3 in front of Chris Tam. Then Slayer will for a short moment finish in 5th. But yes, Scientist in P5, Slayer in 6. Mark Ainley is ranked down to P9. Angry Orange 7, Frenzy 8. No, again different way. Aces Vikings in 7, Angry Orange 8, Frenzy 9. Mark Ainley, he finished in 7 but was ranked back to P10 due to his penalties. Then on 11th, Castor France, and we will just see the final results in a minute. Driver of the day, Official, of course, who crawled up almost the whole grid, starting on P13 or 15 or something. So this is the podium race winner, the Golden Pickle. Congratulations, and here's the champagne. So we are still waiting for the final result after penalties, and sadly it is not depicted to us. Well, we have seen it in the screen when finishing the race. I will just run it down for you again. Golden Pickle has won the race in front of Official. Nick Agnola finished in 3, Chris Tam 4th, Scientist 5th, Slayer in P6. Aces Vikings finished in 7, Angry Orange 8, Frenzy in 9, Mark Ainley finished 10, 11 for Castor France, 12 John Bunter, 13 Moshatit, 14 Sam I Ham, and the rest did not finish. So this was race number 19. Only 3 races left to decide the championship. Thanks for being with us for this very fair and still intense race. We will be back next Thursday evening around about 9 p.m. UK time. Stream always starts approximately 10 minutes earlier. Then we will go to the Mexican Grand Prix. Yeah, thanks for being with us. Have a good evening. Stay safe in these times. And keep racing.